Hey, thank you for joining. It is another Baseball Brew Crew podcast. Oh my gosh. Welcome to episode 177. We're keeping baseball history alive, one craft beer time, wherever you are watching or listening. Please give us a like and a follow. And if you love beer with your baseball, please tell a friend. Let's get to it. Here is the lineup card for today.
Ladies and gentlemen, now batting, the Squared Circle Diamond King. Number 24, the Big Hurt, Allan Jepsen.
You know, I got to put that on an audio loop because that is so awesome. I shouldn't even say a word. I should just have that as your intro.
It never gets old.
Never gets old. How you doing, man?
Fantastic. How are we all doing?
Awesome. Glad you're here. Batting second is the field correspondent and senior research analyst for the Baseball Brew Crew. It is Kevin Lyon, early, coming in hot. Kevin, how are you tonight?
I was told to mellow out.
Don't be mellow. Get hyped up.
All right, I'm here and I'm ready to go.
Love it. In the 3-hole is the Goodwill ambassador and the Sultan of Swig at the Baseball Brew Crew. It is Cowboy Jack Durango.
Much like Anthony Rendon from the garbage city of Anaheim, they call me Mr. 50-50. I'm 50% of the time hitting a home run, and the other 50% of the time rounding the bases and headed to home plate with Kevin's girlfriend.
What?
Oh, my God.
What the hell are you talking about, Jack? She's over here in the corner somewhere. Melina, right?
Awesome.
Okay,
Awesome.
Don't worry.
I am Michael Mondragon, your humble host for the festivities this week. And what craft beer are you drinking tonight? As tradition, we always bring a new and unique craft beer to the podcast. So, guys, what are you drinking? Allan, you are up first.
Not so unique, but I got an Alaskan brew in Kolsch today. It was from my stocking at Christmas, and I'm excited to have it.
It's readily available everywhere in your area?
No, my mother-in-law picked it up in Seattle there. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen it anywhere locally, but I'm excited when I can get some American beers that I can't get up in Canada.
Love it. And who are you wearing today?
Got the Boomtown Brewing in Los Angeles, and this hat just came in. It's the Oryx Blue Wave. It's Ichiro's first team. So it just came in the mail, and I'm very excited.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love those colors.
I was thinking, was it the BW the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, but you won up now.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah, good guess, though.
Yeah,
Is Wahoo McDaniel their mascot, bro?
Well, didn't Wahoo have to leave Cleveland? I mean, he had to go somewhere. So why not he go to Japan or, well, when old people retire, they go to Florida. And he said, wait, so why not Wahoo retire in Pensacola? Nice.
Well, thank you so much for that. Kevin, you are up next.
All right. I had the wonderful vacation to get out of this area. Not coincidental. It was, there's a lot going on in Los Angeles, but decided went a voyage up north and a spot I didn't originally plan to, but we did it. This is Alameda Brewing in Alameda, California. The reason why I went there, we went to a place called Fix Q, which is Indonesian food and Texas-style barbecue. So out of you see that there's a sausage there and a smoked chicken leg, but you see that wing, that rib right there? That's called a dino rib. That rib weighs 1.5 pounds, costs $39 and change for that rib. It's phenomenal.
Wow.
But the great part is you go in there and you get your food and then you go right to Alameda Brewery, get beers, got a few, literally, it was 11:40. They opened at 12. A guy came out, was like, hey, anybody want a beer? And, my friend was obviously looking at me, of course, No one else ordered a beer. I'm like, yes, sir, I will. So I started with a lager called Dia de los Perros, but the one I'm having tonight is called Island Haze. It's a hazy IPA. It's, okay, let me read this description here. Located in the heart of downtown Alameda Brewing has been brewing up a storm since 2015, bringing the best of the island to you. We are dedicated to serving up authentic and timeless craft beer to you. Cheers to the next decade of brewing excellence. Cheers, Alameda Brewing. This is a nice beer. And if you're ever in Alameda, definitely look them up. You can get some barbecue, get some good beer, and there's an ice cream shop on their side. I didn't get a chance to see much, but that part of Alameda has some really cool stuff. Unfortunately, you can't go to Oakland to see baseball anymore unless you go see the Ballers. Then maybe you can make a trip around that.
There you go.
Wait, there's a team called the Oakland Ballers?
Yes. an independent team that just started last summer.
Yep.
Let's go, dude.
I wanted.
Yes.
Fortunately, when I'm going to be up there in July, they're out of town. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, they were going to play in the A stadium, but I think MLB or somebody blocked them.
Oh, I think probably the A's ownership probably set
A's
that
ownership
down.
potentially, yeah.
But they got some traction, so I was like, hopefully that they keep it up.
What did you do with that bone, Kevin?
I know. So yeah, that's the size. That's the bone after we were done.
That's
I still have a
crazy.
little bit of it left there. Yeah, but I just want to show you the gravity of the size of that dino rib. I've never heard of a dino rib in barbecue.
Oh, the rib, not the bone, but the rib. Oh my
But
god.
that's the rib. Yeah. Well, that was my extra rib before I took it out and gave it to God to create meat. They say Adam's ribs. It's actually Kevin's rib.
There you go. Well, you were up there for the King of Sports New Japan Pro Wrestling Battle of the Valley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so great show. And of course, pro wrestling is the thread that kind of brought us all together. And craft beer and baseball is the one that's going to take us into the next century, brother.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
A match that you got there late for,
Yes.
but was this match.
Yes, sir.
And
Finally, right now, before we came on.
yeah, it's a great opening match, hard hitting to say the least. I don't know if you guys, Jack or Allan, saw it. It's worth checking out. As Gabe Kidd had a great match in the Tokyo Dome, but Tomohiro Ishii, actually, I'm sporting his.
You are wearing it. Nice.
Good.
Very cool.
Yes, the Hanshin Tigers and the Stone Pitbull.
Yeah, because I actually saw that shirt at a show in San Jose in 2021, and I'm like, I gotta buy this from manga. I gotta buy it for you. Where I saw Tomohiro Ishii win the never openweight title, defeating Jay White. No big deal. What happened to that guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the switchblade?
I just ordered like 4 Oakland Ballers hats. They are so cool.
Oh yeah.
Nice. So I'm representing the San Jose Churros tonight. Since I was up there, I was like, you know what? Represent the Churros. That's because they're very well known for their churros. It's simply because of the color match. This is Bernie, the mascot of the Inland Empire 66ers, soon to be the affiliate for Allan's Seattle Mariners in 2026 in the California League low A level.
There you go. Nicely done. Thank you so much for that. So my beer tonight is the Elevated IPA by La Cumbria Brewing out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. 7.2 ABV, 100 IBUs. So very, very hoppy. You'll be interested in this, Allan. One of the 4 grains that it has in it is Canadian Superior Pure Malt, or Pale Malt, I should say. Are you familiar with Canadian Superior Pale Malt?
No, not in the slightest.
Well, Canada does have Superior Pale Malt.
Did that come from a moose?
It did not. It did not. And this actually has, are you ready for this? 8 hop. It has Holler Tower Hercules. That is exactly what I just said. Hercules. CTZ, which I've never heard of. Centennial.
Is that a relation to CTE hops?
I hope not. CTZ, Centennial, Chinook, Simcoe, Mosaic, Citra, and Nelson Sauvin. So 8 different hops in this beer.
Nice.
And it is a gold medal winner in 2011 at the Great American Beer Festival for American style IPAs, and a bronze medal winner 2012 at the World Beer Cup. Since we all have these great craft beers, I'd like to introduce a new segment.
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?
That's right. Hey, what happened? It is a quick update on an obscure thing that happened in baseball this week. Dateline, Binghamton, New York. Are you ready for this one? That's right.
I know what this is.
Yes, the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, the Double-A affiliate of the New York Mets, announced today on January 13th. We're recording this on a Monday. That they would be assuming the alternate identity for 2 games in this upcoming 2025 season. What are they going to be? They already have a very elaborate moniker, but they're actually going to be something else this year. And this is absolutely outstanding. Are you ready?
I'm gonna have to order more hats.
Yeah, you are.
Wait till you see this one. If you thought the Ballers were good, you're going to love this one.
You can get on my order.
The Binghamton Bathtub Donkey.
Wow.
They will play on June 28th against the Portland Sea Dogs and July 30th against the Harrisburg Senators.
Allan, when is the induction ceremony?
It's the 31st weekend, I think. It's right near there.
I'm just saying, you'll be in New York. How far is Binghamton from Cooperstown?
It's the weekend before.
Oh.
Rats.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we edit this out in post?
Okay. So.
So good.
Okay. So someone put into effect an American blue law in New York stating that donkeys could not sleep in bathtubs. Now, for those who don't know, blue laws are known as Sunday laws, and they're state laws that restrict or prohibit certain activities on Sundays or religious holidays. They can include commercial activity, alcohol sales, automobile sales, sporting events. Actually, baseball, I think at one time was under these laws. They did not play baseball on Sundays very early or entertainment, prohibiting public entertainment on Sundays. But this is interesting because, apparently the law was based on a case that happened in 1924 when a donkey fell asleep in a bathtub headed down the river into a valley. Now, there is a lot to unpack here. How the donkey fell asleep in the bathtub is one thing, but for it to be headed down a river subsequently and not woken up, by the way, potentially, I'm not sure.
You ever been in a waterbed?
I guess so. It is luxurious. Yeah. I can imagine. Okay, so locals had to haul the donkey back to its home and signed a petition to pass a law in case this thing ever happened again. Again, a lot to unpack here.
So who gets in trouble if they break the law? The donkey? Who's the law against?
Shrek?
It could be. Yes.
I think it was a donkey. Shrek's the only person I know.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Shrek.
Okay. So this alternate identity was actually inspired by the moniker of the Hartford Yard Goats, who actually are the Hartford Bouncing Pickles, that celebrates a law, mind you, that if a pickle did not bounce, it was not edible.
You know what? Coincidentally enough, I once saw a show in Vegas called The Dancing Pickle.
I believe that was a rival for Thunder Down Under, if I'm not mistaken.
It was a lot of Australian guys, real sweethearts,
They'd give you the shirt off their back.
But there he is. He's still here, ladies and gentlemen.
So again, that is a very quick.
Hey, what happened?
So that's good. So by the way, you can get these shirts online. When I was doing my research earlier, these shirts, the ones on the left were sold out. But if you look now, they're now for pre-order. So I think that they sold so many that now it's 4 to 6 weeks to get these. It was so popular in one day.
Just a message real quick to the Bathtub Donkeys main office. That's a free plug. Throw some shirts our way, pal. Come on. Come on. Kevin, you had a question.
Yes, because Jack, I remember you enlightened me on what a bathtub. There's the specific name for a bathtub, but these have different corners on the balls. I'm trying to remember, what would you call this bathtub?
It's called a clawfoot tub.
Yes, thank you. But what would this be?
A ballfoot tub.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
And I can say, Jack, that I am old enough. When I was 10 years old in St. Louis, Missouri, at my grandparents' house, I took a bath in a bathtub with clawfoot.
Yeah, dude, that's when you know you had solid grandparents, though, dude. When they had a clawfoot, Nana and Papa had it going on, bro.
Yes,
man. I wish I had a bathtub when I was a kid.
Yeah, in Kevin's youth, they called the bathtub the river. So
the river of Babylon to you, sir.
Yeah, I was going for Nile.
Oh, okay, all right.
We're a little backed up on our Rustin Powers, and we actually have 5 of them that I want to give them a proper tribute. And of course, Rickey, we just couldn't do in 5 minutes throwaway segment because Rickey Henderson was so important, at least to, I know Kevin and I, but for Allan, I'd love to ask you, like, what do you remember about Rickey Henderson coming up in baseball? I mean, like, did you catch any of his career?
Just a little bit here and there. He did play for the Mariners for obviously a little bit. But, fastest man alive was always kind of what I would always call him, just because how many bases he stole. But yeah, always entertaining.
And Jack, I mean, you're a novice or a novice to baseball here, but like, what do you know about Rickey Henderson?
Well, what I know for a fact is right about now in the baseball wing of heaven, there's a lot of Hall of Famers that are real tired of Rickey telling them how fast Rickey is. So I know he was a fast dude. I know he stole a lot of bases, right? Like, yes. I know that he was a very colorful, braggadocious character. Dude, like, he's the Ric Flair, dude. He's the Ric Flair of baseball, right? So I've recently just learned about him. He seems super fun. As long as he's picking up the tab, I would hang out with him, dude.
Well, I don't know if he could pick up the tab because there's a famous story where he got $1 million bonus check and framed it on the wall, didn't cash it.
Yeah. Yes. The A's management had to reach out to him. They're like, did you cash that check? And he framed it and put it on the wall. If you can imagine that.
Sounds like something Ric Flair would do, dude.
Woo!
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
Rickey Flair. Rickey Henderson.
While owing $999,000 to the IRS.
Yeah, exactly.
You can tell like what insane shape he's in, and his career was actually pretty long. As a player, he played for the Athletics, started with them, went to the Yankees, back to the Athletics, played for the Blue Jays, won a championship with them, went back to the Athletics again, played for the Padres, the Anaheim Angels. Back to the Athletics again in 98, played for the Mets, the Mariners, the Padres again, Boston Red Sox, and then finished up with the Dodgers in 2003. So he started in 79, finished with the Dodgers in 2003, was actually a coach for the Mets in 2007. And I'm actually going to go into a little, I said he played for the Dodgers, but did you know that he played for another team after that? Kevin, you're shaking your head. Do you know who he played for?
It was... I don't remember the team, the nickname, but I remember he was playing an independent team in Long Beach, California. I'm kicking myself for not going.
So he played in Long Beach, but he actually played for the San Diego Surf Dogs.
Oh, sorry, I had the wrong team.
Yeah. So I remember there being a Long Beach connection. I'm not sure if he might have played for the Long Beach team there because I
might be wrong on that, but I knew he played in like an independent team in Southern California. I'm like, that exists? You know what I mean? At the same time, there's like 3 major league franchises in Southern California. All these minor league teams like, yeah, independent baseball, sure.
Yeah, he was trying to get back to the major leagues, and so in 2005 at 46, and I actually have pictures of it that he played for the Surf Dogs. But I wanted to show some other teams. But one of the things about him is that he's like is in insane great shape. And one of the stories I heard about him that and he confirmed this that. His treat that he would give himself every night was a scoop of vanilla ice cream. That's what he goes, that's my treat. I have to, and his body was his temple.
and I wonder how it held up because I read about Maury Wills, who was like the base stealer in like the early 60s. I think he's the first guy who ever stole 100 bases. And he said like, my body was destroyed. He's like, there's no way I'm going to get to 100. I'm never doing this again. He said it destroyed his body.
Never doing it again.
I'm not going for 100 stolen bases again. There's no way I'm doing that.
Oh, I see.
It was destroying his body, doing all the.
Oh, dude! It's a car crash every night, dude.
And then Rickey being Rickey steal 125 bases or whatever he did.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it from Maury Wells, dude. I mean, I grew up watching Arn Anderson, brother. Jump on a plane at 8 a.m. in Charlotte. Land in Dallas, beat the Von Erichs, jump on a plane, go to Vegas, party all night, jump on a plane, don't give me this. They're sliding for bases. Come on.
Man.
Lame, dude.
Wow. All right. But they only play for 6 months a year. I get it, Jack.
These boys had an off season. Brother, they did that every night, and they were drawing houses, drawing money, selling out buildings.
Yes.
Yeah, but how long did Arn last compared to Rickey?
He's still there, dude. He's still doing it. Like, he's still on television. So he's still doing all right, I guess.
All right.
I mean, he's no Maury Wills, dude. I'm sorry.
I'm kind of a little mad at myself too, because I mean, he played in Southern California, right at the end of his career. And I feel like, oh my gosh, there's so many more opportunities to see him play too. And
yeah, what a treat that would have been, dude. That would have been fun. That would have been fun.
Totally.
I was fortunate enough too, because having Angels tickets, California Angels season tickets for like 83 and 84. The A's would be there for several games a year. So got to see me some Rickey. Rickey being Rickey.
Yes.
Allan, did you ever see him in Toronto?
No.
No?
Seattle.
Toronto's very far away. So
wait, you're in Canada, right?
yeah,
there's like two cities, bro.
Yeah, pretty much.
Montreal, Toronto, and I know you're not in Montreal, so I don't know if my math holds up. Let me do some calculations real quick.
Yeah, it's a hop, skip, and a 4-hour plane flight.
Yes, I've done that flight, brother.
That would have been early 90s.
Calgary, 3 cities.
You're getting close. You're getting close.
Yes, he played for the Calgary Cannons at some point too, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, of course. So he was a 10-time All-Star. He was a 2-time World Series champion in 89 and 93. He was the AL MVP in 1990, the ALCS MVP 89. Gold. I was surprised he only had 1 Gold Glove in 81.
That's when he was young. That's like his 3rd season. Yeah.
Yeah. 3-time Silver Slugger, 12-time stolen base leader in the American League. He's retired number 24 for the Athletics Hall of Fame, of course. But the MLB records, 1,406 stolen bases, 2,295 career runs, and 130 stolen bases in a single season. The thing that really amazes me about it, he was, a first ballot Hall of Famer. But are you ready for this? 94.8. There's somebody out there that said, yeah, Rickey, not good enough.
Yeah, but there's people who won't vote for anyone, and there's always one writer who will not vote for someone their first year, no matter what. It's like, get the F out of here. Sorry.
Unless you're a Yankee.
Heat.
Ichiro better get 100%.
Come on. Ken Griffey Jr. should have been 100%.
Ichiro's better be 100%.
Yeah. Yes. Generational player. I forgot that he even played for the Red Sox. That kind of crazy. Yeah.
And there you go, Mariners. Yeah. One news story I heard about Rickey was there was some players talking about that. This is like, I think towards the end of his career, there was a player talking about, hey, where were you when Joe Carter hit his game-winning home run in the 1992 World Series? And a couple of these young kids like, yeah, blah, 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 I was here. Rickey, where were you? He's like, I was on second base.
That's right. Yes. He got that rally started. I think he walked I
think he was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I don't know if the John Olerud story is true or not. I don't know if that's urban legend at this point. Do you guys know the John Olerud story?
I think Olerud confirmed that it wasn't. It's just
I had heard that too.
It's a work. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and tell it, and we'll just know this.
The urban legend was he's on first base one day, and he sees John Olerud. So John Olerud was the player, and I don't remember the reason why, but when he's in the field, he would wear an actual helmet instead of a cap. So I think he had some guy head trauma, I think, when he was younger. Rickey's on first base. He's looking at John Olerud and is like, hey, man, there was a guy I used to play with who wore a helmet in the field. He's like, yeah, we were teammates for 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. And I'm like, I don't ever believe that. It was a fun religion that was floating around back in like the 90s. That's like an old 90s.
Yeah, it's a fun story to kick around too. And yes, he played for the Angels. I mean, look at that. It doesn't even
Anaheim Angels.
Anaheim Angels, yes.
And the Doyers.
Yes.
Man,
and
what a fall from grace, dude. Jeez.
No kidding. This is a shot from Angels in the outfield, right?
Yeah, this was good. And here's him with the Surf Dogs. And he was trying to make it back. And there's a great story. It's if any of you are subscribed to the Athletic, they have a great story on Rickey Henderson playing for the Surf Dogs, and just they loved him. They thought he was like the greatest person, and he was really trying hard to get back into the major leagues at that time. But yeah, it's seeing some of these pictures. It's like, oh man, I would have loved to go see him play here.
He stole 16 bases and walked 73 times.
Oh my gosh.
So crazy.
And
Can
they
you
won.
imagine if you're like a kid who's barely playing baseball, you're like, I'm just one of the greatest players of all time. You know what I mean? That's got to be just nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
They won the championship that year.
They won the
Yeah.
championship that year. So like that was his, that should be included in his championship.
And hey, you know what? It's a shame it's not going to be used anymore, but Rickey Henderson Field. The man is maybe the only MLB player ever to have a stadium named after him on an MLB level. It's crazy.
Yes. Awesome. Well, rest in power, Rickey Henderson. We could go on and on. I'm sure there's a ton more stories about him that will come up. And we also are remiss too, because even though he's going to win an award in the 2025 Diamond Icons, he actually missed out being a Diamond Icon last year.
We got some heat on that. Oh, I got some heat
from a lot of people about that.
Like I said, we picked Morgana over Rickey Henderson.
and we made the right choice. Okay. Listen, sorry, Rickey. You'll get in next year, dude.
You'll get yours, brother.
Yeah, Morgana was priority, and we made that. You know what? I'm going to stand by that decision, and I think history will prove me correct.
Jack, you're always on the right side of history, so
always.
So our next rest in power is the great Lenny Randle. For Kevin and I, again, this goes back to our childhood and watching all these baseball clip shows. Lenny Randle was very, almost infamous for some of the clips that he had, and some of the stories that he had just behind the scenes as well were incredible. And I remember him from his days with the Mariners, but he died in Murrieta, California on December 27th, 75 years old. He played for the Washington Senators / Texas Rangers from 71 to 76, the New York Mets from 77 to 78, Yankees in 1979, the Chicago Cubs in 1980, and then the Seattle Mariners in 81 and 82. I actually had forgotten about this. I'll wait for Jack to get back to tell him this. If I go here's his early baseball cards with the Rangers. And I remember this card, I think it's 78, 77, 78?
I think it's 77.
Okay. There was such a great picture of him first base, this super animated. But
it's both of those are spring training games for sure, right?
I want to say that they have to be because the
one on the left absolutely is. That looks like grapefruit league stuff right there.
Yeah,
but the one on the right though, it looks like a small stadium, but that looks like Padres, and Padres were never in Florida for spring training.
It does, and he's wearing a white uniform, which would indicate that he's playing at a home game. But who knows? The Padres could have had. I mean,
that could be Shea. I don't know.
The one on the right looks like a pretty painful game of slap ass going on.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa, my gosh. No kidding.
Yes, the key and feel.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Slap ass.
But so let's go back to his Rangers days and let's see this. And it actually has quite an interesting more backstory to it than you would expect. Okay, so again, a lot to unpack here. So I'm actually going to pull this video back real quick. So the Indians pitcher, yes, and that was the name of the team, the Cleveland Indians at the time.
Oh, that's their team now? That's the name of the team?
This is 1974.
Wahoo's there, don't worry.
Yes.
Like, I remember somebody trying to deduct points last week because I said Indians, but whatever, dude. Cool.
So
Historically accurate.
So if you look back here in this right here, by the way, the fact that they have this footage is crazy. So it's like 8mm like film and
great account on YouTube. Great account. I can't remember what their actual.
It's like SMU something. Okay, so it says it's in the 4th inning, so it's going into the 5th, right? This incident actually happened, and I looked at it. It's actually in the bottom of the 8th inning. Okay, so watch the pitch. It goes right behind him. Okay, it goes
so it
right
didn't hit him.
It did not hit him. So this was a purpose pitch. I found out later that playing for Cleveland was Gaylord Perry, and I believe that I think his name is Wilcox. His last name is Wilcox.
Milt Wilcox?
I think it's Milt Wilcox. Yes.
That's up. Yeah.
So he admitted that he'd been asked to drill Lenny Randle and by his mentor, Gaylord Perry, who had been shown up by the Ranger ball player in an earlier game. Okay. So he throws behind him for Gaylord. Okay. So he does the drag bunt right here, which is insane to have this much baseball knowledge, to drag bunt knowing that the pitcher is going to cover and he's going to run in the baseline only so he can
drill
upend him, which is just, I mean, like, who thinks of that, right? Like it's the most insane thing ever. Then
that was a hell of a lariat, bro.
Well, wait, he gets a lariat, and then the first baseman gives him a spear, like right there. He like totally hits him. He doesn't even reach first base. Okay.
I love that he still tried.
He's about to. He's setting up a rock bottom. He's got him.
Okay. So of course it breaks out and everything. Super crazy, right? Now the thing that I love looking at here is the other players that get involved in this. If you see right here in the first base coaching box, that's Billy Martin, number 1.
Yep. He was the manager of the Rangers.
Manager for the Rangers. Yep. There's another, and
he's just hammered, by the way.
Of course.
Hammered, of course.
He's just
yes.
He's not quite as drunk as Kevin is right now, but he's close, dude.
For sure.
So if we keep on scrubbing this, like we see these other players, and we could probably go into this. We could probably just like the Zapruder film, go through.
Oh, you have to go there in Dallas. You have to go there in
Dallas reference.
Jeez, come on.
Okay, so
Dallas covered enough.
If you see right here, number 36, right to the left of him, there's a man with a huge afro. That is Oscar Gamble.
Yes.
And there's a very famous picture of him wearing the Cleveland jersey with this big afro.
Yep.
And he'll actually show up later in this video. So the most amazing thing I found out about this video as I look back at it, are you ready for this? Nobody got ejected.
Wow.
Nobody got ejected.
Good old days.
The good old days. This is how baseball used to be. There was the on-field justice. They settle it on the field. So then there's Billy Martin still looking for a fight out there. Still looking for
come on.
I can see the Mick Ultra dripping out of him, dude. Or what was it? It was Miller Lite.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I feel like he was just straight liquor. I think we did Miller Lite for the commercials, brother.
So this baseball footage is insane, to say the least. The thing that really caught my attention when they first uploaded this to this channel was this footage that's coming up is the player that gets hit by stuff and then is going. I don't know if I want to say that's like a player. His name is Rick Manning, but I
wonder if you knew who that was. I was going to ask if you knew who that was.
I can't see the back of his jersey enough to see if it's him. That's all I can imagine. But he tries to go into the stands. His own players, like he is, like that's pretty far up there. They bring him right back down, and I'm sure that it's, he's wearing like those spikes. But if you look here comes Oscar Gamble and his big fro right there. He comes out from underneath. So, and Wilcox is right there. So yeah, nobody was ejected from this game, which is absolutely insane. Great footage, right?
Can I add some historical context to this for Cowboy Jack and anybody who's watched the show in the past? So 6 days later, after this game, these two teams play together again in Cleveland on 10-cent beer night.
Oh, this is the lead up to 10-cent beer night?
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
Oh, rock and
Yes,
roll,
it is.
dude. Let's do this.
Yep. This was May 29th. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I read about the Heat. And I'm like, I think it's right before I confirmed that.
Go back to the archives for that 10-cent beer night.
Exactly.
Yes.
And Matt, after this game, Billy Martin was asked, are you going to take your armor to Cleveland? Martin replied, nah, they won't have enough fans there to worry about. Watch, look up the archives, 10-cent beer night. You can hear Jabba Jack and I go on a nice.
Yes. And we're now going to witness some Mariner history, Allan. So you're going to love this one. We used to love it as a kid all the time. This was a favorite.
Against reliever Larry Anderson. Fastball tapped at the plate. It'll trickle down the third baseline. The Mariners are going to let it roll. Lenny Randle gets down on his hands and knees and blows on it like a curler, and it goes foul. Randle puts on quite a show, and here comes Jim Fry out, and he's going to protest with home plate umpire Larry McCoy that Randle cannot get down and influence the direction of the baseball.
So that's a great one.
I didn't realize I got protested.
Two things. He was out of line for doing that. But number two, that was the dopest year for the Mariners logo. That's when that was the dopest logo of all time for the Mariners.
So when he was asked about that, he said he never blew on the ball. He just said to the ball, please go foul. Please go foul. And it was the power of persuasion.
What a worker of suggestion. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That suggestion. Sorry.
Yeah.
What a worker. I love it.
Yeah.
Totally. So when I saw that, I'm just like, oh, that's right. That's what he said. It's so awesome.
I respect the work, dude. All right.
That's right.
Yes. All right, Cowboy Jack. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
What college did Lenny Randle go to?
College of superstar Billy Graham, Arizona State University.
That is right. I had forgotten that he had gone to Arizona State. And so he actually walked on to the ASU football team. He spent a week working on punt and kickoff returns and ran back a punt for 88 yards in his first game against Wisconsin. Now, at that time, there was a head coach. His name was Frank Cush. And if you look back, actually, Frank Cush was actually asked to leave Arizona State University after some scandals.
Was he a diddler?
No, he was not a diddler.
Okay.
I believe that he was this. It's weird too, because he was asked to leave, and this was 70s, and he was actually too rough with his players. And one of his players, I think it was a punter at the time.
So he's a diddler.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So he's like Joe Paterno light.
Oh. Hey, Joe Paterno didn't touch. It was just one of his coaches who touched.
Did I get you, Big Hurt? Did I get you?
There was an Ohio State football coach that punched a player, like the opposing team during a game.
Woody
Hayes.
Woody Hayes. I was going to say Woody Allen, but I knew that wasn't right.
Yes, Woody Hayes. But Frank Cush earlier had actually lost another ASU player to baseball. Who was it?
Willie Mace Hayes.
It was not. It was.
I'd love to say Reggie Jackson, but I don't think that's the answer.
Reggie Jackson.
Whoa, it is Reggie Jackson. Nice.
It is. He actually.
I know Reggie Jackson's a football guy. All
yes, but Lenny Randle actually played. He was a two-sport superstar at Arizona State. Isn't that crazy?
Nice.
Dude, what a meat factory ASU is, dude.
It really is.
Dude, puts out tosses, bro. Like,
my God, that running back ASU has, he's tremendous. The current guy, I can't remember his name right now. I'm spacing out, but I watched him on New Year's Day, man.
Oh yeah,
guy's a maniac.
Yeah, and
he was throwing up on the sidelines in the fourth quarter. Went back out there and ran for another touchdown. That's a man right there.
That's it. That's it.
You'd think that with such just a factory cranking out athletes here in Phoenix that maybe the pro sports could get it together a little bit.
No.
Won't happen.
No, they don't have the cash, brother.
Sigh.
Wow.
Yes, well, indeed. All right. So our next Rest in power is the great Bob Veale. Veale was one of the top strikeout pitchers in the National League during his tenure with the Pirates. He's a two-time All-Star, was the National League strikeout leader in 1964, was a member of the Pirates that won 3 consecutive National League Eastern Division titles between 1970 and 72, won the World Series in 71, then played for the Red Sox from 72 to 74. Are you familiar with Bob Veale at all, Kevin?
Can I please? I just hashtag do the research, and I'm getting ready to pop Allan if I'm about to tell the story. He's from Birmingham, Alabama. So as a child, he worked the concession at Rickwood Field, Allan Jepsen. And not just that, the Birmingham Black Barons manager not only manned the team's bat boy, but he actually had him pitch batting regularly. In 1948, when he would have been, 12 years old, he actually had him pitch in a Birmingham Barons game.
Nice.
But because he was underage, apparently that was just, those stats were erased from existence. So I thought you'd enjoy that. And also, this is for Allan and myself. He is a member of the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, Allan Jepsen, to where you and I went to in about 6 months or so ago, which is great. I just popped for all that stuff. See, he's a Birmingham guy. And I believe he actually passed away I think he actually passed away in Birmingham. Yeah, born and raised and passed away in Birmingham at the age of 89, I believe. Yeah, 89 years old.
Yeah. So this tells you how good he was. Look who he's the strikeout leaders, who is sandwiched between. So again, not enough people talk about Bob Veale during this time. Like, of course, we know Koufax, we know Gibson, but yeah, he was right with them. Super, super good player that definitely deserves mention. And rest in power, Bob Veale.
That was a Venezuelan card.
I guess it says it is. I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Wait, what? I was like, what are you talking about, Jack?
Venezuelan, yeah.
I didn't know they make Venezuelan edition of these sets, but maybe they did back
I
then.
wasn't aware of that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Also, 4.5 rating. Jeez, the corners must be ruined. It just must be just an awful card.
I mean, you see it's off center from the top and bottom for sure.
Venezuela, huh? I didn't know baseball was that popular in Latin America.
It got popular over the years.
It's doing okay.
Yeah,
learn something new every day, pal.
And then look at this, Clements, a young Willie Stargell over there. That's when he wasn't Pops. He was just Pop. He decided to pop. I mean, he had the home run stroke, but like that, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say he wasn't a pitcher, but I think it was year 70 or 71, the Pirates had the first ever all Latin American and black lineup. They were the first team to have that, and obviously it paid off because they won the World Series in 71, and they were just dominating for a few years there.
That's it. And so here's an interesting one. Somebody baseball wise, you may not know. This is Charlie Maxwell, who played. He was sometimes known as Sunday Charlie, the Sabbath Slugger, and Old Pawpaw. He was a left fielder, a native of Michigan, played 14 seasons with the Boston Red Sox, Baltimore Orioles, Detroit Tigers, and Chicago White Sox. The reason why he was Sunday Charlie, he had a knack for hitting really big home runs on Sundays. And go figure that out, right? And
so blue laws allowed baseball when he was playing. I'm just saying. But, yeah, that's nice that the blue laws applied to for
right.
Well, that the bathtub donkeys are in New York, right? So
I know, but they're. Come on, there's got to be blue laws in Michigan as well. Come on.
In Detroit? You think there's laws in Detroit, dude? All right, dude. Okay.
Yeah, you made a fair point.
So here he is with Al Kaline.
Mr. Tiger Al Kaline to you, sir.
Yes. And this one is actually for the big hurt, Allan Jepsen. Those two young children there, this is the 1950s. What are they participating in that these two ball players are? Well, they know what's going on. So do you know what's going on?
I don't have a clue. I'm trying to figure out. Like,
Jack seems to have.
I see like a newspaper shirt and a weird helmet. And
okay.
That's about it. So that's
Detroit news.
Hey, Jack?
Polo.
It is not polo.
Damn it. Bull crap.
And now I'm going to throw it to a different level. I know Kevin knows. Do you not know?
I don't.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, can I get?
You can guess.
Lacrosse?
It is not lacrosse. I can't believe I am the only person who, by sight, knew what this was. These two kids are in soapbox derby.
Oh my God! Let's just, it's obvious. I'm sorry.
This is a different level. What do you guys even know what soapbox derby is?
I do.
Yeah, but to be fair, Kevin was well into his 70s when soapbox derbies were taking place, and he's barren and childless. So other than I mean the runaways that he catches in the railroad tracks, dude, that's the only youngsters
my girlfriend
he
in
gets.
the corner over there. Jack.
Wow.
Hey, Jack. Thank you for saying I was only 70 when this happened. That's very flattering of you.
Soapbox derby. Is that a soapbox derby helmet?
So I could tell because I remember this, but I could see his shirt. It says soapbox derby, Detroit News.
I just saw Detroit News. I didn't see soapbox. The logo is
there's a whole page on Detroit soapbox derby, and this was part of it. But they used to have like almost like the Indianapolis 500. They would have like a track that looked like the Indianapolis 500. And for those who don't know, they would put them at the top of this, and then gravity would just take them down, and they'd make their own cars and everything, and then they'd race them. And it was like super huge. I remember even in the 70s, like they actually made it to like little cars that were on a little track. That was kind of like a little bit of soapbox derby, but I always wanted to do this. This seemed like so much fun. But it obviously people loved it. Like during like
seems really safe that you want to just.
That's the whole thing. It wasn't safe. And that's the thing that made it so much better.
It doesn't look like there's any steering. Probably not a lot of braking ability on those things. No. So yeah, I'm gonna strap my 12-year-old to that and push him down a hill.
Yeah,
rock and roll.
You doing that with Cash tomorrow? Sorry.
Rock and roll.
Cape Fame is my age. Cape Fame, not very far. I'm in Buena Park, California. I remember riding their soapbox derby ride. It no longer exists, but there was a soapbox ride. That's how I knew what a soapbox derby was when I was Cape Fame, not a kid, in the 80s.
Okay, so I didn't want to divert it too far.
That's all right.
I had to know if you guys knew what soapbox derby was.
I only knew the Knott's Berry Farm ride.
Yeah, I just aged myself. All right.
Wow.
So back to Mr. Sunday. He actually had a beer from Paw Brewing Company, the hopped up amber ale, led the American League outfielders in fielding 1957 and 1960, and committed only 25 lifetime errors, two-time American League All-Star with Detroit in 56 and 57, tied a major league record for 4 consecutive home runs in a Sunday doubleheader against the New York Yankees in 1959. Charlie Pawpaw Maxwell, Mr. Sunday.
Mr. Sunday. Charlie Maxwell. Pawpaw.
Isn't that amazing? So again,
great. Thank you.
We bring it back to beer and baseball.
I've got to look up Pawpaw Brewing apparently. Jeez.
I looked it up, and they're not too active on social media anymore. And I think that this beer is actually something else. It's like some baseball, just generic lager, or still an amber ale, but
that's amazing that this guy, have an official. It's official. You know what I mean? The guy in his age, like, yeah, I don't care. Make a beer out of me about me. Sure, I'll sign up on that.
So this is his hometown right here, the Pawpaw.
Yeah, he's in Pawpaw, Michigan. I saw that. That's good.
All right, and here he is, part of the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame.
Nice.
So one of the most popular players with Detroit. Again, I had never heard of him, and again, unfortunately, he had to pass away for me to know his true brilliance. Right. All right. So lastly, we have Rocky Colavito. He died on December 10th, 2024. He was a baseball player, a coach, a television sports commentator, played as an outfielder from 55 to 68, prominently as a member of the Cleveland Indians. He was a fan favorite that when he was traded, literally the fans were super upset about it. He was a very popular player. He also played for the Detroit Tigers, the Kansas City Athletics, the Chicago White Sox, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and New York Yankees. At the time of his retirement, he was ranked 3rd among AL right-hand hitters for home runs, 374, and eighth in the AL games as a right fielder, 1,272, 9-time All-Star, averaged 33 home runs per year for his first 11 seasons, which is kind of crazy for, again, it's super popular player. They really, really enjoyed him. He was also the first outfielder in American League history to complete a season without making an error.
It's interesting because the way baseball picks their Hall of Famers are different now. Like nowadays, he might have been a Hall of Famer nowadays. I know he's in the Indians Hall of Fame for sure because I remember going out there. But nowadays, people are treating things differently to pick people because the stats are different nowadays. You have new stats, you have WAR to look at, and all these kind of things. And waiting to see how the Hall of Fame slot's going to change over the generation is some of these old writers just need to just retire or just pass on. We need to get some young, fresh blood in there. I'm sorry to say that, but we talked about earlier, we can't even get 100% on one player, let alone a guy like this who was like 9-time All-Star and like not even being considered,
Yeah. And there's also the convention that says the opposite. Some of the players that are getting in now don't really have the stats that should be there as well.
I could say, Scott Rowland. I'm like, people are contesting about Dave Parker or like Dick Allen. And then I was hearing about Dick Allen's WAR is like Hall of Fame level. Because nowadays they're like, well, let's look at a guy at an 8-10 year peak where they're just destroying the sport.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's good enough to where it's like, yeah, he absolutely deserves it. And that's definitely a change because it seemed like it would just be tenure and lifetime stats.
Yeah.
The only exception would be like a Sandy Koufax,
mm-hmm.
who retired young.
Yeah. So Rocky Colavito, he had, again, a 9-time All-Star, AL home run leader in 59, which is like, that's crazy. AL RBI leader in 65 and hit 4 home runs in one game on June 10th, 1959. So just like hard hitting Mark Whitten.
There you go.
The 4 home runs in a game. It doesn't happen very often.
I'll give a fun Rocky Colavito story I just read about. I was looking and it says, how far could he throw a baseball? Like, that's random. Why? So as a step for publicity in San Diego's Lane Stadium in 1956, the general manager of future Hall of Famer Ralph Kiner gave Rocky Colavito 3 chances to stand at home plate and throw a ball over the center field wall, which is 435 feet away with a 10-foot wall. And apparently he did it. Apparently he did it.
Wow.
I'm going to have to wait a minute. I'm going to have to look for it. Because apparently the record, a guy threw it forward at 45 feet. A guy I never heard of here. But I'm like, did he really actually do that? Probably like, this is kayfabe. That sounds like a kayfabe story. But I love those kayfabe stories. You know what I mean? But this is one of the best players absolutely for a period. And if he wasn't on Cleveland, he might have been more heralded, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw this from, is this Gummy Arts?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah. I love this. The Destruction Crew.
Right.
So Rocky Colavito and Larry Doby.
Well, wait, what's their names? Where's the real Destruction Crew? That's not the Destruction Crew I know. Where's Mike Enos? Where's Wayne Bloom? There.
Wow.
He was a big AWA fan.
Oh, absolutely. Back in the 1950s when I was a kid, sure.
He was
Mike Enos, dude.
Probably Mike Enos and Wayne Bloom at you, yeah. But you saw me. I was stalling. It took me like 10 seconds for it to come back to my brain. So at least I remember that.
That was impressive.
For what?
Yeah. So,
yeah. No, that's the question. I mean, but you Rain Manned it, dude.
I totally did.
Love it. So rest in power to our 5 heroes. We hate to lose these great ball players, but we love talking about them and bringing them to light and letting everybody enjoy them and also our perspective on their place in our baseball, our love for baseball, that is. So we are available on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Guys, any last words before we sign off for this week? Again, any bookings, any cage matches, ladder matches that you guys are doing this week? Nope,
none.
I might be participating in a radiation Anaheim terror death match. We'll see. That might get
there it is.
That on Saturday night.
Semi-retired.
Semi-retired. Yeah, because if I say I'm retired, then I'm gonna get a bunch of money and be like,
Kevin. A good friend of mine recently said, Legends don't retire; they just take fewer bookings. So
There you go.
Hey.
Thank you for calling me a legend. Thank you.
of course, brother, of course.
Thank you.
For Cowboy Jack Durango, Kevin Lyon, the Big Hurt Allan Jepsen, I'm Michael Mondragon. We will see you next time for another Baseball Brew Crew podcast. See you next week, everyone.